Good morning and welcome everyone. I'm Yağmur, so I'm going to talk about pressure today. We all have that days where everything feels like too much. Deadlines stack up, expectations feel impossible, and the pressure becomes almost unbearable that we almost quit everything. But before we let that pressure break us, let's take a moment to look at it from a different perspective, from the eyes of the nature. In wild, most of the strongest animals thrive not despite, but because of pressure. Take the lobster. It doesn't grow in comfort. In fact, when its shell becomes too tight, a painful pressure builds inside it. And the only way through is it's a risky route, shedding its armor and becoming vulnerable. But without this discomfort, the lobster would remain stuck, unable to reach its fullest self. Or take the butterfly. For us, it's a symbol of beauty and freedom. But before it can fly, it has to fight its way out of the cocoon. This fight, this pressure is essential because it's what strengthens its wings. And if someone tried to help the butterfly by cutting it free, the butterfly would emerge weak or not fly at all. Think about the camel. It was built to survive in the most unforgiving environments. It doesn't complain about the thirst, the heat, or the long journeys. It has adapted. It carries strength in its humps and resilience in every step. It has become one of the animals that thrive because of pressure. Or the emperor penguin, which stands through endless nights in Antarctic winds, guarding its egg in freezing temperatures. It doesn't do this out of glory. It does this out of love and purpose. Its endurance under pressure gives life to the next generation. All of these animals are proof that pressure isn't there to break us, but to build us, if we are willing to adapt and grow. And actually, humans can thrive under pressure too, if they can change the way it affects and turn it into a catalyst for growth. Scientifically, pressure is defined as continuous physical force exerted on or against an object by something in contact with it. But I don't believe it can be defined that easily in our daily lives, because the meaning of pressure changes person to person. And for some, it can be a motivator, a hidden force that pushes them to unlock their fullest self. For some, it's a weight, a burden so heavy that it crushes rather than strengthens. And some use it as a tool to control and influence. And these are people that usually who are in control or politicians. But for me, the definition changes time to time too. Sometimes it drives me and sometimes it traps me. But if I had to define it right now, I would say that it's a feeling inside an individual. I know, it may sound vague, but it holds a deeper truth. Because the greatest pressure we face in our daily lives isn't always from the outside world. It's actually from within. It's from the expectations we place on ourselves. It's the feeling of never being enough, or doing your best and still wondering, is it really enough? This inner pressure can soon evolve into something much darker. Something like a black hole, pulling everything in, your motivation, your confidence, your hope, and no matter what you'll do, you always feel like something's missing, you'll never satisfy yourself. Psychologist Ellen Hendrickson once said, "We are each our own worst critic." And this quote speaks to me deeply, because I never try to be better than anyone else, but myself. This sometimes helped me overcome big challenges, but sometimes it consumed me. I found myself in a place so dark that I was pressuring myself so hard that I forgot to be kind to myself. And stepping out from that place, well, that wasn't easy, but it wasn't impossible either. Many of you know IB program is a very hard program, and being an IB-DP student means that it's like being on a tightrope actually, juggling many things at once. Extended essays, IAs, TOK, CAS, and when you think you're done with everything, another deadline pops out of the blue. I remember one incident at the beginning of my IB journey that almost made me quit everything. So I needed to choose subjects, and I was in between biology and physics. So everyone told me that biology would be the safer option, considering that I was struggling with physics at that time. So I just started believing that I wasn't a physics person. This pressure I put on myself for physics actually chipped away at my confidence too. And everyone was getting the formulas at that instance, in one glance, while I was just staring there and trying to understand what it was really. So, as I said, this started to chip away at my confidence, but not only in physics, actually, in myself too. I almost quit everything. I just filled out a form to change my subject to biology. But just before I sent it, I paused. And I asked myself a question I hadn't had the courage to ask before. Was I really bad at physics? Or had I just stopped trying because I wasn't confident in myself? So that night, I made a decision. Not to change subjects, but to change mindsets. But more importantly, I realized that in the moments of intense pressure, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and to self-doubt and to even consider giving up, as I did. But if we can turn the way pressure affects us in a catalyst for growth, and then we can actually benefit from it. We can turn it for our motivation. So looking back, I can say that I'm proud of myself. Not that I only chose physics, but also I chose to deal with the pressure that comes with the decision-making process. Because it actually helped me to grow too. Because instead of saying, I have to succeed, I started to say, I want to grow. Or instead of fearing failure, I started to believe that progress makes perfect. And actually, that's why I'm here today. Not as someone who has figured it all out yet, but as someone who has seen both sides of pressure. And what I did was just replace pressure with perspective. But replacing pressure doesn't mean we remove it from our lives. Actually, we reshape the way it affects us. We turn it into a motivator. And it helps us to grow both mentally, and we actually start to feel confident in ourselves. And now I can say that I feel myself self-confident in physics. So, just as immense pressure transforms coals into diamonds, the most challenging decisions we have to make in our lives reveal our strongest and the most resilient selves. The diamonds aren't made by pressure alone, but with coal's ability to endure it. And likewise, pressure doesn't define us, but how we rise under it, that defines us. So if your exam's feeling overwhelming or your grades are disappointing, just remember this. Pressure isn't there to break you, it's there to build you. And don't forget this, maybe it's the start of your transformation from a coal to a diamond. Thank you.